Good morning. It's a nice brisk morning.
It's like a Scottish winter morning.
Making our morning coffee. We were full of good intentions of getting up early, and it's just too cold.
Yeah.
The air is really, really cold. Turns out where we were camped last night is a popular dog walking route. So apologies to anyone who walked their dog on April the 30th and thought, who the hell put a tent in the middle of our path? We did not know it looked like a closed-off forest road. Sorry. We're off on the ascent to Baden-Powell. This is a notoriously steep thing. You climb just under 3,000 foot in 4 miles. So yeah, it trots buttock a bit, but now that we're in the forest a bit, at least the temperature has normalized. Been climbing for half an hour. We've gained about 600 foot so far. And there's a bench with a neat little flat camp spot. So to anybody who arrives like we did yesterday, so middle of the day, and thinks I don't want to do the whole lot, that's a good spot. Half an hour of climbing will get you there. We have been encountering little banks of snow like this pretty much from, well, about a mile into the climb. We have progressed about 200 feet further on, and the microspikes are coming on because...
I caught myself.
Oh no, not again! We're not even a mile and a half into this walk, and it's been snowfields like this everywhere. And they are, at this time in the morning, it's not snowfields, it's ice fields. It's absolutely rock hard. You can't even kick a step in if the steps don't suit you. So the microspikes are coming out. Reached the Lamel Spring turnoff. Apparently the spring is flowing well. So that means we've done about a mile and a half since we started. And it's taken us an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, we're down to our favourite 1 mile an hour pace. There's this thing on the PCT where they like to put these really big mountains straight after a resupply town. So you're at your absolute heaviest when you're doing these climbs. I think we've reached the people didn't know where the path was and went straight up the hill part now. Because we're going straight up the hill following all these footpaths. We think the path is up there. Oh yes, Brian looks happy. That's the path. Don't know where it was supposed to come from. We have regained an inch of path. So the camera's coming out because I can actually stand still for a moment. It's very nice up here. But boy, this is one steep mountain. Especially in the snow. Trying to work out what manner of animal has left this print. Our money at the moment is on cat rather than bear, but you know, if you can tell us, that would be great. This is where cameras just fail. You can't see how steep this is. But yeah, we've been scrambling up the hill straight up because this area is supposed to have tons of little switchbacks which are basically invisible now. Nobody knows where they are, so everybody's just going straight up. And by straight up we mean straight up!
Nearly on the top. And this is so steep you wouldn't believe. But yeah, it doesn't show up. So now I'm off. Nearly on the spare trail to John Moores. This isn't John Moores, is it? Where we are? Baden-Powell. I'm getting knackered, I can't remember anything. Look at the clouds.
tree's named after him, the mountain is.
Very old Hydean tide. Come from miles down there.
Vertical miles.
Vertical miles. Just a bit more to go.
Here's the path to the actual top. Just when you thought it was safe. But it is virtually snow-free, people weren't kidding. The top of Baden Powell is okay, just getting to it isn't.
And this is a famous tree. We'll put the name on later. There it is. And he's just coming up behind me. It's a tough walk. No, it wasn't until the switchbacks went, and it was just the only path was vertical. We're on top. Yeah, American flag. There's Heidi. Well done, babes. What have you got to say?
Huh?
What have you got to say?
Not this for a lot. So here we are, on the top of a really steep mountain. Beautiful landscape everywhere. We're above the clouds, and some prick brought a bottle of beer and thought the empty was too heavy to bring it down. And you know what? Because I read maps, I'm gonna take it out for him, because there's a freaking trash can in about 6 miles. Oh, people! Having a second coffee with a view.
Where's the view?
That funny box there's a sign-in book, by the way. It's not a load of trash that people have left. And
I need moisturiser for my legs, it's starting to crack.
I don't think that's called cracking, I think that's getting caught on everything you can possibly get caught on. Ryan is debuting his new sit bed, which he picked up from the hiker box.
Bit of repair tape. It's like a new one.
It looked like somebody had used it, you know, as a windshield for one of those things,
yeah.
because there was
cut the hard bit
bit of
off.
a hole in the middle, so Brian cut that out and put some repair tape on.
Yeah.
And he's now sitting pretty, literally. Finally got one of those little buggers to stand still long enough. It's you. You're looking at me, aren't you? There's weirdos up there taking for... Oh, little... Oh, God, are you pretty? Little furry rat. That's a ground squirrel, actually, I think. Calling it a furry rat is rather disrespectful, but usually all we can see of them is like a bit of brown fur running down the hill. You are gorgeous. Yeah. So just when we thought that the climb down from our Baden Powell surely can't be harder than the climb up, this is the kind of stuff it sends you over. Slippery death in snow or rocky death in, rocks. Choose your end. Looks like we might finally have left all the snowfields behind. Oh, the big majority of them anyway. It's very nice when you can actually walk rather than scramble or slide or slip. How are you enjoying this bit of path?
Too smooth. Too smooth, it's like clinicalised. This is snow, the boulders, the blowed I shall put a complaint in.
Okay, I should probably explain he's fallen a couple of times and he might have banged his head without me noticing. And here is why we don't like snow. Heading for a little Jimmy Spring at the top of our water. And there's the actual spring. How wonderful is that? The spring that signposts, it flows, is easy to find, has a good way in. Incidentally, it's got a way in and out. So you don't have to leave your pack on the trail like I did, because you can walk down with it and walk out the other side. And up there is the campground, which we're currently sharing with 15 other tents, so I won't be doing any filming there. That's where we're pitching, right next to the cairn. Today's very stressful section started here at Winston Gap and then began to kick our butts straight up. And we climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed at Baden Powell. And from about here on, the switchbacks weren't even visible anymore, so we just went straight up as everybody else had done. And with straight up, I do mean straight up. And we reached the top of Baden Powell after about 4 hours, I think. Which, yeah, wasn't bad going for us. Beautiful up there, by the way. I mean, I would definitely recommend taking that little detour. And we carried on down the ridge because the, wisdom says that this part of the PCT, when there's snow, is actually worse than the top of Baden Powell and going along the ridge. And the ridge was pretty snow-free for most of it. So that worked out well. And then we regained the PCT and we regained a lot of snow and started our, what we thought was our climb down, but it's actually not a climb down at all from Baden Powell. You drop down a bit and then you go over this mountain, and then you drop down a bit and then you go over this mountain, and you know, it's just up and down all along. And I dropped all the way to, yep, oh God, the shadows are being a bit funny here. Little Jimmy Trail Camp, that's where we are. Just before it is that spring that I showed you. That's just the ideal spring. All springs should be like that. And yeah, so we made just under 10 miles. It's 9.9 miles we made today in 10 hours.